that's the bad Gnosticism.
I don't think the point is to like avoid Gnosticism and Pelagianism, which is what Pope Francis's thing is. It's to be a Pelagian and a Gnostic at the same time.
Absolutely.
That's gonna be my contribution of theology. Like everybody's trying to like skirt both of them, embrace them both, have knowledge, and yeah.
This is one of the things I've been talking about anyway on Twitter, is that this idea that we think the Christian versus Gnostic schism, you know, even though they kind of are founded out of the same, you know, hopes basically, right? Is that in both ways, they both deny the body in separate ways, and both are also still seeking that absolute internal divine revelation of intuitive knowing that is the noetic part. They're both actually, you know, and for the most part, gnosis becomes like mind. It becomes, oh, I know all these things, and therefore I'm saved by all these secret things and words I know, you know. But that's not what it is. Gnosis, in terms of wisdom, Sophia, that is internal knowing. That is the moment where Peter is asked, so who do you think I am? He says, you are the Son of the living God. That's gnosis. That is divine instant revelation.
Yeah. And drop some heresy for y'all right here.
Also, bro,
we got some old school heresy going on.
One of my Jesuit professors, Father Justin Kelly, we were talking about the Gospel of St. John. He said, Michael, that's the most Gnostic text you're going to find.
Right.
It is.
I know, in a good way.
Well,
that's what I'm saying, you know, don't you think it's analogous what I said about we have to become both? It's somewhat analogous to the Western Church's hang up on good and evil, where the Steiner, you know, worldview places, you know, you have Ahrimanic and you have Luciferic, right? And that's the thing, you know, we're so worrying about, you know, in one generation we're avoiding Gnosticism, I get it. And in a sense, the church is trying to navigate that, but embrace them both. And it's another piece to this final participation thing I think we're talking about, bringing Gnosticism and Pelagianism together.
Absolutely. And even you discussing Lucifer and Ahriman, Steiner talking about the Christ impulse as being the balance point, that's where growth is.
And that is precisely where Christian Romanticism becomes a vital thing again, because we go back to the original Romantics in the 18th century, 19th century. They were responding to the Enlightenment and the scientific revolution, right?
Yes. And this is something that Steiner was really aware of, is like, I love the classical schools for a lot of reasons, but they don't really include the art piece much or the poetry piece much in terms of the students themselves. Yeah, they might learn how to write a sonnet because they're learning iambic pentameter, but the idea of being in communion with the muse or with Sophia or with, you know, heaven forbid, God himself, you know, this is not something that is the idea of like transmission when it comes to Christian Romanticism. Is like you have to take that living thread, and that's what you're passing forward, but it has to be in a place where it can grow. If tradition becomes stagnant, it's not really helping you much. Christianity is going to survive. It has to find its mystic heart. It has to be able to grow still. And I feel that if we, in this age of technocracy, if we can't find our spirit in our bodies anymore, we're going to be in trouble.
We are in trouble.
We're gonna be in trouble. Understatement of the day. We're so in trouble. We're so in trouble already.
We're so in trouble, and people don't even recognize this loss of like. As much as we discuss the idea of the Gnostics deny the body, there's also the idea of death to the world and transcend the world, and we'll get our reward in heaven. Like, if I read the Bible correctly, heaven comes down here.
Yeah, right.
We're supposed to bring it here, which is the whole idea of the incarnation, is that anchoring of that wondrous divinity in the here and now. Yeah. That's the new world. This abnegation of duty that we kind of are stuck with. Well, it'll be get better in heaven. God will fix it. It's like God put us here to fix it. You know, we hear about, you know, well, why does God allow these things? Well, God goes, well, why do you allow these things? You're there. Why don't you fix it? Get together. You know, stand up. Let's do something about it.
There are human obligations now that we have the power to do. Jesus said you'll be able to move mountains and so forth.
Unmediated experience, I think, is really important in Christianity. And I think that Meister Eckhart and Teresa of Avila are really, the ecstasy of that interaction, I think, is poignant. But I also understand their suspicion of, don't get too lost in the transcendent because we need you here. If you get, you know, this happens even in the Eastern traditions, you have these sadhus who can't function because they're so, you know, somewhere else, that they're no longer truly embodied. The whole point of the Christian story is that we incarnate here to bring spirit heaven here. So